The first day I met Mike McCabe was when I interviewed for the assistant planning job with Crook County. The interview panel was Judge McCabe, Jeff Wilson, and Bill Zelinka. I entered the room. Mike McCabe jumped out of his chair, thrust his hand out to introduce himself and said, "Hi, I'm Bill Zelinka. Glad to meet you." And I knew I was in for trouble when everybody started giggling. But I've known the judge since that date, and it has just been such a pleasure to work for him. I will miss his witty humor immensely.
I've known Mike McCabe most of my life. That guy's kept me laughing for years. Some of the funny things he says, things that I remember, he'll walk up to a gal and he may not even know him, but he'll look at her and he'll smile and he'll say, "You're prettier than a John Deere swather."
My favorite story from Mike is one day he and Jakie had gone to Redmond, and on their way back, and they're coming past all of our huge data centers, and he said to Jakie, "Did you ever in your wildest dreams think that you would ever see this, that we would see these data centers and all of this growth up here?" And he said, Jakie thought for a minute, and she said, "Well, actually, Michael, you've never been in my wildest dreams."
Okay, I've known Mike McCabe for probably 30 years. I think anybody that knows Mike knows that he comes with what we all refer to as McCabeisms. And so I've had the opportunity to hear lots of McCabeisms. One of my favorite McCabeisms is frequently in the county court they deal with land use matters. And Mike is prone to point out that Central Oregon has lots of rocky soil. And so one of his McCabeisms that I enjoy is that the soil is so rocky in Central Oregon that even the jackrabbits are required to carry a lunch pail.
One of the things I remember Mike McCabe being quoted as in the newspaper one year when we had a drought was that it's so bad this year that the fish up in Prize Mill Reservoir are getting a sunburn.
So another McCabeism that I've heard Mike say in the past, this is one that I refer to as the R-rated McCabeism, the one that's maybe a little off color, is that Mike McCabe says he doesn't read National Geographic for the same reason he doesn't read Playboy, because he doesn't like to read about places he's never going to visit.
My first memory of Mike McCabe was when I went to work for the county. I worked for the county about 2 years, and in my interview I came in and I helped a gentleman go through a door because he had a cast on his leg and he was in shorts. And so I went into the interview hearing, and here's this gentleman with a cast on his foot up on the desk in front of me where I could see his toes. So anyhow, very interesting. The only time I've gone to a job interview with somebody in shorts with a cast on their foot up on the desk. It was a fun time.
Well, I've known Mike since I was hired the same year that he was elected back in 1992, working at the museum, and the next year I became the director. So I've had a lot of interaction with Mike over the years, and he's always been very supportive of the museum. As time went on, and as most of you know, Mike's a jokester, and he would often say things that just, as a city mouse, I'd never heard before. But I got him back one time. He was we were doing the appreciation breakfast at the museum, and we get so many people that we're putting people in nooks and crannies. And we had him and his wife in the little Les Schwab enclosure, along with Lawrence and Carol Weberg. And as I was passing by, I just stopped, I looked, and I said, "My God, we could put a piece of glass over this room and just, you guys would be the artifacts in that exhibit." And he kind of likes to tell that story too, because you know, his family goes back a long way in this county.
One of the things I've always really appreciated about Mike is how welcoming he's always been when I've gone over the courthouse and had the opportunity to interact with him. I always get a hug and a smile, and he has a wonderful sense of humor, and we all appreciate that because it's difficult sometimes to go through your day when you got so many things going on. Then you get to interact with Mike, and it makes for a great smile. And I am really, as a person, as a human being, I wanted to say how much I appreciate all of the support he's always given me since the day one I started working for the county. And I'm really, really going to miss him.
I was fortunate to know Mike before he became a county commissioner, so I always had that kind of relationship. Mike has always been one with words and has been one to be remembered with his words. That includes the governor of Oregon, and includes some of the Facebook people, Apple people that have been shocked at some of his sayings, but shocked in a pleasant sense. He's quick-witted, and he's got these sayings that most of them can't be repeated on public television or in public meetings, but he liked to have humor in everything he did. And of course, being around as long as I've been around, Mike has always felt that I'm kind of the older than dirt, you know. One of his favorite sayings is that I've been around so long that, and he knows it because in the picture of Jesus and his disciples, I was the last one on the left. And, you know, that's one he always uses on me in public meetings. He also has kind of had fun with me when I hire people with community development, because finding qualified people as inspectors and other technical fields is hard. So I find some of these retired people, and as Mike has said, that he always knows when I'm interviewing because somebody's walking in a wheelchair or in a walker, so they must be going in for an interview with me.
The other day I was reminiscing about the times I've had with Judge McCabe and how long I've worked for him. Since I've been juvenile director, he's been one of my bosses. 24 years is how long he's been around. And so I've worked for him for so long. And I was asked to put together some stories about Judge McCabe. And so I did some writing. And oh, his family is going to hear this, aren't they? Okay, well, all right, can't tell that one. And then there was, no, I can't get that one either. And then, well, okay, I don't have anything I can actually tell on this tape. So Judge McCabe, good luck to you. I'm going to miss you. It has been such a pleasure. Thank you for being so supportive of me as juvenile director and of my department. Thank you so much.